Welcome to the weekly sales meeting. Today I'll be your host, Todd Bitter, Chief Sales Officer here at UMortgage. Believe it or not, today is the last sales meeting of the year. It's flown by, quite frankly. It's amazing to think that this is the end of the year already. And, speaking of 2023, a lot of people out there, especially a lot of our competitors, are talking about how this is a lost year. This was a bad year. At UMortgage, we increased our fundings by 127% over the last year. That is absolutely amazing in what most consider to be a very down year. We couldn't have done it without the incredible mindset, the focus, and the drive and the planning of our loan originators, branch managers, our ops team, our marketing team, and all of our support team members here at UMortgage. Just hats off to them for just giving us all their energy and time and just having a winning mindset throughout this year to allow us to do what we did, which was increase our fundings by over 127%. That's, again, a mind-boggling number when I look back and think about what 2023 really represented. And speaking of that, 2023, while it was a tough year, it was a very tough year for many people. This is the type of year that you got to look back on and you have to say, this is a teachable year. This is a year for learning. And what do I mean by that? Well, quite frankly, I was around in the 2008 housing crisis. And during 2008 and early 2009, it was hard to find a lot of positive things about that time period, right? But shortly thereafter, it was very apparent to me that those tough years are your biggest learning experiences, the absolute best thing to teach you and learn from how to be better going forward. And 2023, for the next few days, we got 3 days left in this year, I think it is, 4 days. It's the time to reflect, look back on this year and say, this is what worked for me. And I can apply those things in 2024, which will be a much better year by all measures. The Fed is talking about pausing interest rate hikes or even talking about interest rate cuts next year. And we've already seen rates coming down. These are the type of things that's going to create a buzz in the industry. We're going to see a lot of activity come back in over the next 3-4 months. Actually, we're already seeing it come back in last week. So use those learning mechanisms that you gathered from reviewing the last 12 months and go back over those and find the things that work. Because if they worked in a tough year, they're going to work great in a good year and even better in a great year, which we're seeing coming up. The other thing, look at your misses. Look at the things that you failed at. Those are the type of things that you can learn from even more so than your wins. Every coach today that played in an NFL game over the last 4 days of the holiday weekend are reviewing tapes today. And why are they reviewing tapes? They're looking at what worked and what didn't work. So these next 4 or 5 days is your tape review days. These are the days for you to go back and say what worked and what didn't work. And the things that didn't work, what can I do to improve on those? What can I do to make sure that they don't happen in 2024? These are the things that you have to do to plan for the new year so that you can come out of the new year swinging and hitting the ground running and have a very successful new year. And it's easy to do if you just focus and plan and review the year that you just came out of. I'm going to hand this off to Andrew Cady, who's going to talk about winning realtor business and how to create these new relationships. And I'll see you in a few minutes.
What is up, everybody? It's Andrew Cady with the Epic Mortgage team down here in Florida. I hope your holidays were amazing. Today, I want to talk about winning with listing agents. It's something I'm very passionate about. It's something I built literally $30, $40, $50 million a year of business by cultivating relationships with listing agents. We're in an industry, a unique industry where each and every purchase transaction we do, we have the opportunity to earn the business of a listing agent. You may say, well, listing agents, they just list homes. No, they also get buyers. Now, they say, I just do listings. No, they actually have buyers as well. And it's a big opportunity. So I want to talk about some key points on how we go about this. First and foremost, never, ever, ever miss an offer without calling the listing agent. Number one, it opens you up to multiple listing agents for a single transaction. Think about that. If your buyer is putting 10 offers in on 10 different properties before they get an offer accepted, you've got an opportunity to build relationships with 10 listing agents. It's one of the most common responses I get is, thank you so much for this call. Nobody ever calls and talks about the offer that's coming in. So what I tell my buyer's agents is, don't ever submit an offer without texting me the name and phone number and the property address you're putting the offer on. As soon as that offer's submitted, I'm going to pick the phone up and call the listing agent. That conversation's very simple. It's, hey, Sally, this is Andrew over at UMortgage. We just placed an offer on 123 Any Street. I just wanted to call and introduce myself to you. I've been in the business for X amount of years. I've got a great reputation. You probably have heard of me in the local market. If you have any questions on this offer, I want you to have my cell phone number so we can get them resolved. I want my buyers to have the best opportunity to win the offer on this house. Tell them that you've already reviewed the bank statements, the pay stubs, you have a DU approval. Listing agents know these terms. First and foremost, you got opportunity to touch a bunch right there. Now, the next stage of this is when a contract comes in. The moment a contract comes in, it is pause everything. I don't care if you're in a meeting. I don't care what's going on in your life. Stop everything and start making phone calls. First phone call was to the buyer to congratulate them. Next is to your buyer's agent to congratulate them as well. Make sure everything is on track. But don't miss the call to the listing agent. And that call, in my opinion, is very, very simple. And it goes something like this. It's, hey, Sally, it's Andrew. Just wanted to call, say congratulations on getting the contract. Thank you so much for trusting Johnny, the buyer, and myself to get this to the finish line. And begin to ask really intelligent questions. And what you're going to do is paint yourself as the expert very, very quickly. Hey, just wanted to check on your end. Do you happen to know if this property is a flip in the past 180 days? Because I see the buyers going FHA. I want to make sure we don't run into a flip issue or need a second appraisal. If it's a condo, ask if you know if they have the contact information for the HOA so you can get the condo docs ordered on day one. Set yourself up to be the expert. Ask them, hey, how do you feel about appraised value on this property? You think we're going to have any issues hitting the appraised value? Begin to build that relationship on day one. And then what I always end that call with is I say, well, Sally, I just want you to know from me, business partner to business partner here, I hope to earn a 5-star review from you when this is done. And you're not necessarily the client, but I want to wow you throughout this transaction. For me, it's all about 5-star. And I mentioned the word 5-star multiple times in that transaction. And then what we do is we follow up with that listing agent at every single point along the way, every single point. When appraisal comes back, when it's conditionally approved out of underwriting, when it's submitted for clear to close, when it's clear to close. And when the loan goes clear to close, it's another phone call to the listing agent. And then I ask them, hey, I remember I talked about getting that 5-star review. So let me ask you, on a scale of 1 to 5, how do you feel my team and I did on this transaction? If they say anything from a 1 to a 3, you got to immediately take a pause and be like, I am so sorry to hear that. Please tell me how we can get better. Chances are you're going to get that 4, most likely a 5. And the moment they vocalize that you did a 5-star job on it, you have an opportunity right then and there to say, well, if you got me at 5 stars on this, I would love to sit down, buy you lunch, buy you coffee, and talk about how we can partner together. Because this isn't a one-off transaction for me. What you experienced is what you're going to experience on every single transaction we do. It's simple. Go out, make the phone call. That's my call to action to you guys today. Call a listing agent that you recently closed the transaction with and ask them to rate your service on a scale of 1 to 5. And when they give you that 5, get the meeting. Begin immediately. Any new offers that are going out, start calling those listing agents. When contracts come in, make the phone calls. Don't rely on automated emails to update your listing agent. Take the time to pick the phone up, call, and build relationship. Relationships are never, ever, ever built over the phone or over email or over text messages. They're built with the tonality of your voice. Send a Loom video. Do something different than your competition's doing, and you're going to win with listing agents.
Good morning, team. Happy Wednesday. Today, we're going to talk about data, tracking, and your numbers, your metrics. we talked about this yesterday in the daily sales huddle. We had a great conversation, and the CPA in me, I love it. I love the numbers. So today I'm really focused on looking at, what can we do as LOs to better track our metrics, better track our numbers, and understand those numbers to set us up for the most success in the future. And one of my goals in 2024 for the company and the organization is to help us track and understand our data better. When you look at big companies like Amazon, Google, Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, they all track their data. And they're not just tracking the data because they want to analyze the past. It's what the outcome of doing that actually does. So when you analyze the past, it helps you better predict the future. You know what happens in the future. And what we see is so many LOs, they don't know their numbers. They don't track their data. We just, go out there and try to get more loans and get more leads, but we really don't track and understand the numbers. And it's crazy when you think of all the, big companies and successful companies, they all track their numbers. So why don't we do as good of a job there? And one of the ways I think about this is, if let's say you had a family member who had cancer and they were going to see the doctor. You go to the doctor with them, and the doctor's like, well, I've seen a lot of situations like this, and here's our plan of action. Here's what we're going to do. And the doctor doesn't take notes. They don't take data. They don't have any of the analytics. They don't have all the research behind it and say, well, out of every 100 cancer patients that show these symptoms and have these things, with those, we recommend doing this. And when we treated with this method that showed more success rate, if that doctor didn't have those numbers and analytics, you probably wouldn't be as, convinced or feel as, confident in their plan of action for treating the cancer. So I think about the same thing, like every single profession out there, everybody's so focused on data and numbers these days. It's so important. So us as loan originators, we've got to get better at it. So if you haven't already, set your 2024 goals, use your sales math and our level up goal tracker to know what it is that you want to accomplish in 2024, numbers wise, data wise, and break it down into the small parts, and be diligent about tracking those things daily, every single day. You've got to be tracking your numbers to know them, understand them, and actually use them, because they are a powerful tool when you actually have all that data together, and it's going to help you achieve your goals. And ultimately, that's what we want to do.
What is up, everybody? David Hanosh here with UMortgage, specifically UMortgage West. I'm going to be going over 3 things you can do to better prepare yourself as a loan officer for 2024. Number 1 is helping your area. How can you do that? Is availability. Letting people know you're out there, that you're working the weekends, you're at open houses, you're hosting webinars, whatever it may be. Letting people know a 9-to-5 doesn't exist with you. Maybe it does. Maybe be more efficient with your time, but I'm certainly not that 9-to-5 guy. Another way you could be helping people out is essentially, like I said, workshops or seminars. What that goes into detail of, you could talk about the mortgage interest intricacies. So how much can they save up for if they're a first-time home buyer, if they've bought in before? What are the key programs that could put them in the best possible position to get that next house? So wherever it's, in your state, moving out, you're going to be able to help them out. Another big way is simply just educating your community. What that does is when you educate your community, you're fostering financial resilience and the local ecosystem. So by having people better educated, getting into the right programs, they're going to stay in the house longer, they're going to build financial wealth, and you're going to be that person that helps them and be that face and image that got them to where their net worth is up, because now they have a home, they can consolidate debt, whatever it may be. You're helping that community financially be stable. Another key topic to talk about as we roll into 2024 is realtor relationships. Now, 2024 and 2025, we're going to be seeing a lot more refinances, but we really shouldn't forget about the people that helped us out in 2021, 22, and 2023, which was a tough year for everybody. I think we can all agree on that. So don't forget about the same people that were helping you in those tough years. As we get into more of a refinance, and maybe for these people, it's going to be slower for them, this is when we should double down and actually fully invest into these agents. One of the best ways we could do that is being reliable and efficient with our solutions that we can create for clients that maybe thought they couldn't buy a home, but now they can. When you do that, essentially it helps streamline the home buying process. When you streamline the home buying process, now when somebody either comes to you or the agent, you have that essentially that synergy to where you help the ecosystem, because now you have an agent and a lender that work really well together. And especially if you know, like a title agent, CPAs, whatever someone might need, it's like a one-stop shop. And when you do that, you build trust, credibility, and you're just helping whoever, is buying a home get into that process a lot sooner without having to go like 5 different places to pretty much make the magic happen. Now, with everything I just said, how does being an advocate for your local community boost your business? Well, for starters, when you're well invested into the well-being of your community, it builds trust and reliability. When you build trust and reliability, that then makes people feel comfortable to address housing needs that maybe they weren't too comfortable talking about with somebody they didn't trust. So when you're able to solve essentially all those housing problems or questions somebody might have, you're now creating more future homeowners. More future homeowners means more business for realtors and more business for you. So it's an all-around great ecosystem to work around. Now, my call to action to everybody who's watching this video is to goal plan, if you haven't already, for 2024, and then go reach out to every single realtor that you're working with right now and really invest into them and ask them in a more comfortable way, hey, 2022 and 2023 were a humbling year for everybody. What can I do to help facilitate to make sure that 2024 is a year you're never going to forget? That's all I have right now, guys. If you have any questions, you could always reach out to me. Other than that, I hope you guys have a fantastic day.
Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Adam West here talking about refinances. Can we believe it? Holy crap. I don't know if you've heard, but rates might be coming down in 2024. Wow. Merry Christmas to us. Okay, so how are we staying in front of our clients? What are you doing? Are you doing anything? If you're not doing anything, you're probably missing something. Please stay in front of your clients and talk to them about what's going on. So how I've been doing this is, regardless of the rate is one thing, right? If you can save someone money and get them a lower interest rate, then heck yes, that's amazing. Cool. Call them immediately. The ones that are in the 7s and the 8s, hit them up, get their rate lower. That sounds great for them. It's easy money for you. It's easy savings for them. It's a win-win all the way around. What about the people that don't have a loan that you're able to refinance right now? What are you doing? Still call them. Call the realtor. Call people that were involved in the transaction. Like, be in front of this, right? You need to let people know that rates are coming down. You are the one to refinance. Did you know that most people that you helped with the purchase don't realize that you were the one to also do their refinance? This happens all the time. People will use someone else and it hurts and it stings and they didn't use you and you're so sad. That's on you. You didn't stay in front of them. You need to let, at the purchase, number one, when you're helping people with their application to get pre-approved to buy a house, you need to let them know that you're the one to refinance them. If you're not saying that in your initial phone call with them, you are missing the boat on setting this up for the refinance. And number two, if you're not in front of them being like, hey, look, rates might be coming down, I'm going to be the one to tell you when it's time to refinance. I'm your guy. I'm your gal. I'm the one that's going to get you ready to go. You might be getting mail or you might be getting a phone call from someone else. Don't listen to that. Listen to me. I'm your mortgage advisor. I'm the one that helped you. Remember how amazing that process was? They will love it. They will love it. They'll be, oh, okay, great. I saw these news articles and I got this thing in the mail and someone called me and I just didn't know if it was actually the time to do it. If they trust you, if they had a good experience with you on the purchase, they're going to use you on the refinance. At least you hope so, right? But you have to stay ahead of it because if you're not calling them, somebody else is. The question comes up is, how are you going to find these people? How are you going to find the ones that are able to be refinanced? If you have been at UMortgage for any little bit of time and you have a past clientele in Arrive, it is extremely simple to run the report and get that. If you don't, and if you've come over from some other company and you're new to UMortgage, I hope that you've been tracking your past clientele and we can go through and you can find the interest rates that are higher and go down the list. Again, start with the high ones, but you should be hitting everybody up. Make this an excuse to not only call your buyers, but to call your realtors as well. Call to action. Do what I just said. Call everyone. Freaking shout it from the rooftops. But be careful. Be careful because I don't think right now is the best time to refi. It's going to be in the future, but stay ahead of it right now. Be careful with how you say this. Don't say it right now. set the precedent, ask for referrals when you're doing this, call the realtors as well. Everyone is excited. This is a very exciting time after what's been a very difficult market in the past couple of years. Keep the excitement high. Let people know it's time to save money and be the winner, be the hero. Go get them. Thanks.
Thank you, Andrew, Adam, David, and Tyler. Great information for a winning mindset going into the new year. You know, one of the things that I like to talk about, and you hear all the time, is adaptation. You know, over the last 3 weeks, I've heard a lot of people talk about adapting to the market ahead. I want to leave you with this. For next year, the market needs to adapt to us. And what I mean by that, for the last 18 months, the clients and the realtors, the home buyers, they've all been shell-shocked with the higher rates, and they've all been kind of like not knowing what to do after coming out of such a historical low rate environment. Now they've all adapted. The market has adapted to us, as I like to say. They are now used to these rates. They are now tired of renting. So look at it as the market is about to adapt to us. It's already adapting, but in the coming year, it's going to be even more so. So use that. Go out there and talk to your realtors today. Talk to your previous clients and the clients that were kind of sitting on the fence post. Get out there, let them know, hey, rates are starting to come down. The market has adapted. They realize out there that they can't wait around for 3% interest rates, and home buyers are coming back into the market. So let that serve as your fuel to kick it in gear and move forward in 2024, because quite frankly, it is. The market's adapting to us. We just have to take it. We have to run with it. Go out there, contact all your pre-approved buyers that maybe sat on the fence post all year, but they want to buy, but they just weren't sure. Let them know rates have come down. So it's just those basic sales activities going to drive your new year. So with that, I want to thank our speakers again today, and I'll see you next year. Have a great 2024.